Hello everyone. I want to make a supa, which is a Gambian name for okra soup. Again, another dish that most African countries or West African countries cook in slightly different variations. I don't eat red meat, so I don't cook mine with red meat, but this is usually cooked with beef. You can't cook it with goat or pork. It's usually just cooked with beef. And again, I'm not very good with red meat, so I think those are the only red meats, right? Beef and lamb. Okay, I cook mine with a chicken broiler, it's called. I think this is the hen, and this is what it looks like. It's chicken, but it's really tough. So you can use it in substitute as red meat because it won't break off. I've already started cooking, and then I decided to do it on video for my YouTube channel. So I couldn't show you what happened in the beginning, but basically I used kettle water boiled just to get it started quickly, because this pan is really thick and it takes ages to get really hot. So what you start with is, as you can see, I don't know if you can see properly, this is onions and pepper, which is the Scotch bonnet pepper, and spring onions. Try and use spring onions because we always use spring onions, and it's you really taste the difference when you have the spring onions in it. So imagine one bunch of spring onions to one large brown onion. I have here about, I think, 2 large brown onions and a bunch and a half of spring onions. And this is what I've done is I always pick out the really bony parts and cook them first. Look, like this is the neck. I've only put it in here because it really brings out flavor, and you can see a little oil here, which so these are the bony bits, and I'll put these bits in later because they're meaty. Although I said it doesn't break off, but because this does take quite a while to cook all in all, so I don't want to put them all in. So what's in here really is just the boiling water, the onions with spring onions, and the Scotch bonnet pepper. That has been done in the blender. You can chop them as well if you want to. Okay, and so it's the chicken that I'm using. And I'm charging my phone. Anyway, this is I'm being very lazy today. I didn't buy the chopped, the proper okra, the fresh one. So I'm using the frozen one from the supermarket. It's, as you can see, this is it. So later I'll open it up. It tends to be quite large. So what I do is I chop it up myself. And how I like to make my okra is I always put it in a different pot with a little bit of water and boil it. What this does, it makes it a bit more, this is going to be a icky word, but slimy. I like my supper to be a bit slimy, so I like it like that. So I tend to do it in a different pot until I get it how I want to, and then the okra is going to go in at the very last minute. Obviously, I'll show you that. Okay, let me just pop you over to the other ingredients. You must have this, which is the oil. This is palm oil, and that's what we're going to put in right now, actually. I was meant to do it before, 10 minutes before. Anyway, now this is another one that we use in Gambia in particular, and like I said, with the different variations, I would imagine a couple of countries don't use it. This is called Molokhia, or Molokhia, but Molokhia I think. Green Molokhia, frozen. It's about 89p, 99p in the halal shops. And we use this. We call it kereng, and yes, it's fabulous with it. Obviously, in Gambia, we do cook supper without it. Some people, I would imagine, just don't like it. But for instance, in our family, we always use it. In fact, I have an auntie who prefers supper only cooked with this rather than the okra. She doesn't really like okra. And in her house, when she cooks supper, she uses this mainly and just puts a tiny bit of okra. You'd hardly notice it. So, yeah, if you're cooking this, please try this. Green Molokhia is very good. The next one is the whitefish. Again, I mentioned the laziness and obviously economy. So I'm using Tesco whitefish fillets, which is, how much is this? It's about £2 in it. And well, if I had proper guests coming over, I would use proper fresh fish from the fish market, and yeah, have a really good white fish. It always must be white fish. And this again is another essential ingredient because of the taste. This is smoked fish, and yeah, we always again use it. Sorry, let me just see which one. This is cod fillet, smoked cod fillet I got from Sainsbury's. And this should be enough. I'm cooking quite a bit here, just trying to get my neighbor to taste it. She's from another country. And Maggi cubes. Sorry, because I'm recording, because I'm charging my phone, I'm really all over the place. So again, as my other videos are, please don't be irritated. But this is how it goes. So I'm just gonna open the palm oil now and pour it in. Okay, here goes nothing. It's absolutely solid. We're gonna put it in the microwave or hot water in the sink. Right. Okay, the palm oil is in the microwave just to loosen it up a bit so it can come out the bottle. I'm gonna put a couple of Maggi cubes in here because I would want them to start getting into that meat that's already in there, just to start a bit of flavor going. Right, so that's a couple of Maggi cubes. Let me just take out the palm oil now. Right, we have lift off from the palm oil, so here goes. We need to go back in. I think it's melted down at the bottom rather than the top. And let me just big up the Ghanaians, because I always have people tell me buy their one, it's good. And I actually do go to the shop, a Ghanaian shop. I think she brings it straight back from my country, but I couldn't go there this time, so I just got this from the halal shop, and it's from Ghana. It's Zomi. Yep. Okay. Right, this needs to go back a few seconds. Right, okay. That's the... Oh, let me just mix it, make sure I'm just... Yeah. And I really couldn't tell you how much I'm gonna use, because I've cooked this enough now that I just judge really. So look, like that's how much I've used already. It's right on top there. So I'm just, yeah, I think that's enough. So right on top of the label I've used. Is that about 1 cup, I think? And this bottle is £3.69. So you put it in now because you want it to cook off really. Take all that raw smell off, and then yeah. I've done the okra. I'm not going to start cooking it now because it does take like no time to cook at all. And this is it. Yep. I might not even cut this. Usually I just go through it with a knife, and if you want to do that, it's much easier when it's frozen. So when it's done, I'm just gonna put like quarter of a cup of water or half a cup and just let it steam. I don't want it to really cook. Okay, maybe say parboil it, and after, like, when this is about 20 minutes ready to go, then we pop it in here when the water would have really gone way down. I really should have used my solar grill back at the back, because this is slower than slow. But we're getting there. Right. Okay, now whilst I just think of what to do next, I've just texted my friend, right, and asked her, because, okay, in Gambia we eat this with rice. Gambia, they eat everything with rice. But other countries, they obviously have these other things. So I bought something called, what's it? There it goes. Pounded ayam. And I've gotten this before, and I don't know where I got it from really, but someone just told me it was pounded yam, and they just, ayam in the country means yam. But look, because I'm mad about ingredients, I decided to read it, and it says, can you see? Potato granules and maize starch. And I thought, what? So I texted her asking her. But according to her, not to worry, it's yam. So, alright, should we just say it's the English calling yam potato? But where does the maize come in from? Alright, anyway, we're gonna have to use a little bit and see that we're not eating mashed potato with this, because it obviously won't go. That's a funny one. And that's quite a lot of money actually. How much was that? £3.89. So, fingers crossed. Thank God I have a baby. If it's potato granules, she can eat it. Okay, I'm just going to get on with other things and I come back to you. Bye. Right, what I'm going to do next is, I'm going to, as I said, these were the bony bits. We want to get all the flavour out from the bones and just let them cook as well. It's been on for a while, I think about 30 minutes, so I'm just going to now put the other bits in. And I'm going to put them as well in two different stages, because still there's ones with bone and meat, and there's ones with no meat, no bone at all. So, like this, that's the drumsticks. So they're going to go in. And this part, I'm not going to say it because I don't know what part this is really. It's by the thigh. Is it by the thigh? By the drumstick? Something like that. Anyway, this is that bit. So they're going in. Another drumstick. Yep, and that's it. Now these are the bits that are remaining. So they're very meaty. Hardly any bone there at all, so they're going to go in. Another 30 minutes I put them in. I took out the Scotch bonnet peppers for you to see. Remember I was saying I put in a couple of onions and a bunch and a half of spring onion and a Scotch bonnet pepper. I literally put just one in because yeah, these are massive in Gambian cookings. You always find them in every dish, and we put them whole like this, which is good as well, because yeah, if people don't like pepper, you don't have to have pepper in the food itself. We just put it for flavor because these pack a lot of flavor. So you just put half or one in the dish, blend it in with the onions or whatever you were cooking, and just put the rest in like that. You want to eat it, more pepper, and you just have that. Also, one thing about this dish is we don't cover it. Not at any point during the cooking do you cover it. Well, I don't. I haven't been to Gambia for a while, I must say, but I would say that we don't cover it at all. I'm now that I've said it, I'm starting to think maybe if you were cooking the meat, you'd just at the boiling stage, you'd cover it. But I'm thinking because the onions and the peppers are there already, there's just something about when you cover food, something does start to happen. For instance, I know that you are not meant to cover palm oil, I think, for sure. It splits or whatever, there's something that goes on when you do it. Also, countries do change and modernize and get influenced by other countries, or what's started to happen with so many dishes is you see a lot more ingredients in it. But when I cook for YouTube, I'm always just going to stick to the original versions of cooking, and I actually like it. I prefer everything original. I've seen other versions of all different kinds of foods and I've tasted it, and particularly I would always pick the original over it. For instance, this, I would imagine now people cook it with all sorts. They'd put like shrimps in it. What else can I think of? Maybe even squid. Basically just seafood, anything that you think can go in it, they'd put in it. But I wouldn't do that, and I don't like it. And you already know I'm cheap, hence the fish. Anyhow, and what I wanted to say is there's this other Gambian thing we cook, and I can't wait to make that. We call it a lady's food, but let me tell you, the men like it equally, if not more secretly. And it's fabulous. It's really easy to make, and I'm going to make it very soon. It's really quick. It's just like a pregnant woman, sort of a lunch snack kind of thing. Yeah, and it's nice, and I'll make that soon. I haven't had it in a while, so I want to eat it as well. Oh, for a moment I forgot I was recording. So I've just put in the Molokhia, and this is how it comes out in a big slab. It's well packaged. It actually comes in 2 packages. The one you saw, the outer one, and there's another transparent one inside. So it's much easier to take out when it's frozen, as you can see. So I just put it in like that, and it will dissolve in no time. So yeah, we're still going on. This is the okra. It's still there, still frozen. I haven't started parboiling it yet. I'll do that later. Right, and the meaty chicken is still there as well. Not yet gone in. We'll put that in a bit later, and the smoked fish as well. The smoked fish will go in just before the okra. Yep, there you go. All dissolved. Or all defrosted. Right. Coming up nicely. Just still slow. I'm so wanting to put it back at the... Let me show you this. The Molokhia that we've put in here also has a bit of a slime. Can you see? Yeah, but it's not as serious as what okra does. So really do try it if you can. It's very easy to access. I find it in most halal shops that I go to. Green Molokhia. Yeah, I'm now putting in the meaty bits of the chicken broil I was telling you about. I forgot I was recording again, so I started. And there it goes. I've just put in 2 Maggi cubes, and I've taken out the meaty chicken because it's starting to soften a little, and I don't want it to break, as I said before. So I've taken them out and put them in another space for the time being. So I've just returned them back in the pot towards the ending. The okra is still here, still frozen, as you can see. I haven't done that yet because I need this to reduce about a third more, I would say. And once it does that, then I'll start to parboil the okra okra, which takes about 10 minutes. And what I've done in the meantime is the smoked fish. I've just cut it up using scissors. You can cut it up anyhow. And I've taken the frozen white fish out the bag. I am not going to cut them. I'm not going to touch them at all. As you can see, I haven't even tried to open them. I'm going to leave them because they're fillets and they're quite thin and they will break easily. So I'm going to put them as last minute as I can, just so I can have them whole. They won't remain like this, obviously, probably like quarter of this. And that's the Scotch bonnet peppers. I've washed them. So there we go. We still have this to put in, and of course the okra. Just waiting for this to reduce now. Right, this is getting on a bit, so I'm gonna just start the okra now. That's the cup of water, just half a cup, and that's quite a bit, so you can see. Because, yeah, all I need to do is just get it going in here, and that's all I want. You can hardly see the water down there. Yes, just mix it, and because it's frozen, so I'll get a bit more moisture out of that frozen particles down there, but you don't need much more than that. And as I said, I didn't cut it. Usually I do try and reduce the larger ones, but it will be okay because there's still a bit more liquid here than I would want. So when it's finished, I just put it in here and it will break down. Yeah, so I'm doing that now. I'll show you in a minute how it will look when I need to take it off. Sorry about the noise. This is it cooking. I haven't added any more water to it. All I do is I just keep stirring it and stirring it like so. You see? I'll do it slowly. Yep, just like that. And I'm just gonna leave it a couple more minutes. What I also do is I break it up as I go, and as you can see, I'm just popping in one Maggi there. Because this is packet okra, you always find this slight difference. I don't know how to say what the difference is. Maybe is it sweeter or what it is, but really the fresh one is always, you're much more certain when you have the fresh one anyway. So I put that Maggi in there just to start dying out whatever taste, or I don't know, if maybe it's smell rather than the taste, but I just put the Maggi in there anyway. For me, it makes me feel more secure about it. So yeah, as I do it, as I mix it, I try to break it up in here a little bit. And just another minute and I'm gonna pop it in our big pot here. As you can see, oh my god, my phone was gonna drop in there. Yeah, this has got to the, can you see now? This is only the Molokhia in there now. And just this itself tastes great already, honestly, I'm telling you. Yeah. So, and the ingredients are still here, the smoked fish, fresh fish, and the Scotch bonnet. Right, this is got to the point I wanted to. I'm happy with this now. This is the one I took off earlier, the softer meats. But I'm going to put in the okra first, so you can see how it changes. And alright, just pop it in like that. There it goes. And as you can see, the okra still, you know, all that to break down a little bit, which it will do. Again, not too long. It doesn't take that long because I've boiled it already. And yep, thing to the super. I'm gonna now pop in the Scotch bonnets because they do take a while to cook. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just put half of this just to get the taste going, but not everything, less than half. And I'll put the meat back because I want it to start getting moist again. I have taken it out for a little while, so just put those back in as well. This is a little bit more meat that I should have done. It's a bit more, but it's okay. Yep. And I'm just gonna lower the put it to 4 because the okra's in now. It can start to burn at the bottom very easily, and all I really want is the okra to break down because this is done really. But I'm gonna give it say 5 minutes, 10 minutes max, and then I put in the fresh fish and then we're done really. Okay, I'm just gonna put the fish in now. And let me just confess something now. I want a little bit more palm oil in there. So a good trick is put a little bit of water in a different pot and put some palm oil there and cook it off. Don't put the palm oil in there if you feel you need it, because it really does need cooking off to take off all that smell and just to cook the oil itself. And alright, so this continues cooking. All I did was just take the Scotch bonnets out and put them in there. Yeah, and this will go in a couple of minutes. This is still going, and I'm still burning off the palm oil here with the Scotch bonnet peppers. I'm gonna put in the smoked cod now. And what I've done with this, I've turned it right down so we can wait for this. But because these are smoked, they're again partly cooked. So I'm just gonna like put them inside, and they should start cooking because the pot is very hot. Yep. Yeah, and this, I just keep tasting it until I can't really taste that rawness of the palm oil, and then it should be done. I've put in a bit of sauce from the big pot in here rather than just have the water and the oil. Yeah. Hi, this has been resting on the low heat, and this is what happens. The palm oil begins to come out. But because I was a bit nervous about it, I decided to do this. Remember the one I was making earlier? So I'm going to pour it now. I'll probably now have much more than I wanted to, but still, it's okay.
I'm just about to put my garlic, ginger and chilli into the start making these.
There you go.
I don't know even then, but I am almost finished.
I'm coming towards the end of that as well.
Put that in there. I've seen a couple of this cooking, and this is what I usually don't see, this palm oil on the top. Now in Gambia you must have it. If you don't have it, it's just basically you've not had enough palm oil. You didn't buy enough. We always have it. So that's what I wanted to see. That's why I decided to add more. So I'll probably say now you need it to go for 1 1/4 cups of palm oil. Yeah, and there you go. This is the super okra soup. Okay, I'm just going to leave it on the heat a little bit, but it's done really. This is it. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you try this one as well. Oh, one thing I forgot to say was what you eat it with. This is eaten in Gambia with rice. In fact, now that I've said that, I think I said it already in the beginning, but if I didn't, you eat it with boiled rice or pounded yam, those sorts of fufus. Yeah, that's what you eat it with. You can go on YouTube and check how to make it, because I am not going to show you how to. I'm going to make mine, the one I showed you earlier, but I'm not confident enough, so I'm not going to show you that one. But there are so many videos on YouTube on how to make it. That's where I checked how to make it. That's why I have the confidence to now come and try it. Okay.
Sorry to say this, actually.